I got winners on the way. You know you can't knock the hustle. And if you gotta get in place, then we gon' put your business on display. Grab a seat with Nisha for a minute. And if you got the goods, we can talk about your business. She know what it's like to make a move independently. And I don't fake us like that. We've been trusting God like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, we gon' put your business on display.
Well, hey everybody, it's been a double duo today. I still am sporting my I Can Dream Center Inclusion Counts t-shirt from the I Can Dream Center. And if you all were with us earlier today, we were with Chef Maureen and Chef Rome, two celebrity chefs. And it was just amazing. They're doing a fundraiser for Battle of the Chefs. But more importantly, we really talked about, giving back. And we talked about how, of course, they talk game about how they're going to be like cooking up a storm. So you all don't want to miss that. So make sure that you definitely go to July 9th. Go to July 9th. Go attend on July 9th. Flossmoor, downtown Flossmoor, where the Battle of the Chefs will be taking place. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. Super excited about that. But just to carry on the conversation today, thank you all for joining us. So if you're just joining us, please hit share, whether you're on YouTube or Nisha's Network private page or my personal page, wherever you are today, go ahead and hit share. Because today I'm honored to have one of my spicy brothers. I'm going to call him Spicy because he's always cooking up something, whether it be a joke, whether it be fun, but mainly he cooks up Jesus. And that's the blessing. So let's welcome Pastor Moy Mendez. And he's going to shoot me because he used to say, don't call me Pastor Nisha. Just say Moy. Just say Moy. Hi, Moy.
Nisha, thanks again for having me on Nisha's Network.
I'm so grateful to have you here. And I'm grateful I was laughing with him earlier today. Just a few moments ago about how he is such a jokester, you guys. Like that straight, nice, innocent face is just not real right now. Okay, that's all I want to say. Pastor Moy, he got me one time on Facebook, and I don't know. I guess it's just the joy of the Lord and your humor. I don't know, but I really enjoy the fact that your personality can just be so much fun as well. So thank you so much for being here today. I want you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so yeah, my name is Moy Mendez. Grew up in Blue Island. I have 4 kids. They're 5 years apart. My oldest is 20, so it's 20, 15, 10, and 5. And I am the husband of Eva Mendez, and we've been married for 21 years. We're actually going on 22 years. So, yeah. That's Eva calls me Spicy too. So because I spice up things. So
okay, I love Ava. And shout out to her for having to be married to you for 21 years. I'm just kidding. She's so great though. But, today I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about, as we shared the advertisement was Beyond the Four Walls. And I just love that I could talk real with Moy and just, not that you can't be real with other people, but he's just going to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth and not superficialize it. And that's one thing that I really appreciate when we met is the fact that, we attend Christian Life Center together, COC, in Tinley Park. And for a short time, a few years, you were pastor over in our Blue Island campus that is now called the Hope Center, right?
Right.
And so I want to get into all of that a little bit, but not really. I really kind of want to talk about just going beyond the 4 walls, because your title is you are our local missions pastor at COC. So tell us a little bit about what that entails.
Yeah, so Nisha, one of the biggest driving forces behind that is understanding that I grew up in sort of the area, so I'm very familiar with the existential realities that communities of color encounter. Now, why is that important to me? That's important to me because not only am I a pastor, but I'm somebody who grew up in a neighborhood that understands the everyday challenges. So as a pastor, I don't only want to look at somebody's spiritual well-being. I want to look at somebody holistically. I want to be able to ask myself, how are they doing spiritually? How are they doing economically? How are they doing socially? Because in communities of color, tend to say, okay, what's an under-resourced neighborhood? There's material poverty. Okay, well, that's just one of many ways that we're poor. But that's not the only way. Sometimes there's spiritual poverty. Sometimes there's familial poverty.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's relational poverty. So to be a pastor in an area like Blue Island that allows me to exercise my giftedness and add value back into the neighborhood is where I thrive. I want to be able to serve people in a holistic way. So those are four of our commitments at the Hope Center. We want to be able to add spiritual value, economic value, intellectual value, and social value. So that's why we exist. We want to add value into the neighborhood and people's lives.
So that is going beyond the four walls of the church, and that's really going into the neighborhood of specifically Blue Island. And so, for those of you all who are not in the Chicagoland area, Blue Island is a suburb, a south suburb of the Chicagoland area. And so, with that being said, just in terms of your own personal testimony, how do some of the people that you grew up with that may not know the Lord now look at you and say, um, I really want some help, or you know what? You can keep Jesus to yourself, or you can keep that to yourself. How do they look at you now?
Well, I think for the most part, it's looking at me personally if they had a relationship with me. But I think that the biggest spotlight right now is on the church. So a lot of people are looking at the church for what we're against and not what we're for. We don't spend a lot of time showing people what we're for. And if we do a better job at that, people actually see that Christianity has contributed much to human flourishing. Christianity has been responsible for a lot of the hospitals, academic institutions, financial institutions. So we've been a driving force that's even worked in tandem with the democratic system. So, well, what I'm sorry, not democratic, democracy. With a democracy, I don't want
You will get some ouches on that from many
no,
people.
yeah, I don't want to
Both
get
ways. It's both ways, y'all.
that's contributed towards democracy. It's worked in tandem with a democracy, as opposed to a totalitarian government. And I think the reason why that's important is because if we begin to show people what we're for, it's going to help people understand us more. It's going to help people say, okay, well, I don't know what they're against, but wow, I could see that what they're for is really making a big impact. So to your question, how do people see me now? I think people see me for what I stand for. And when they see that I stand for people that look like you and I in a community such as Blue Island and Robbins, they might not even care what I sort of religiously stand for. They just know that there's somebody that cares for the community, somebody that's an extension of God's hands, feet, and heart. And when they see that, it's interesting. People put a lot of times all those other things aside because they see the authenticity behind what you're doing. And I think that's what the church needs today is just a certain level of authenticity where people get to see us on our good days and they have grace with us on our bad days because they see so much good that we do in communities and our family.
Yeah, that's so good. I want to switch gears because while you were talking, I was thinking about how our young people, our young adults, and there's so many. We can go out. We the church is supposed to handle the spiritual component, right? But we're also supposed to handle those other components as well, the economical, the family, just the financial, all of that. But what I wanted to say was there are so many young people that are struggling with depression and families just struggling with the oppressiveness that is seemed to consume us during this time frame. And I know that we reach out, but how far does it go? Because sometimes families feel like you just left them. You know what I mean? I'm thinking of specific families. It's like, oh well, they can help me only so far. How far are we supposed to go? And when do we begin to allow them to see the growth where they can start making moves on their own? I guess what I'm trying to say is that I've encountered, and I'll just be transparent. I've encountered several families and young wives or young husbands or even young adults and teenagers and children who are struggling in the areas of depression. They're struggling in the areas of financial poverty different things. And you know how you'll go along the way, you'll carry them so far, and then sometimes people need to stand on their own, but then they blame the church for not sticking by their side. And I've heard this literally. How would you address that?
Well, I wish there was a panacea to that problem, but there isn't. There's so many factors and variables that contribute towards our mental wellness. Everything could be from, you know, uh, brokenness generationally, uh, all the way down to something that's physiologically wrong. I mean, I do believe that just as people have physiological issues with not producing enough insulin, people also have physiological issues with not producing enough dopamine and serotonin in their brains. And sometimes that contributes to people's overall well-being. Now, those are again just some of the factors and variables that contribute to people's well-being. But a lot of it is, what kind of there's this word that Aristotle used to use of sort of a flourishing civilization, and he called it eudaimonia. So
Yeah.
yeah, eudaimonia, and that means, basically where human civilization could reach this level of overall flourishing, and I think that's something that we all at one point in time have tried to reach ourselves. Is how do we reach this overall flourishing as humans? On one end, we have to, try to balance what we have to do economically. How are we going to provide for our family? And then we have to think about our career. And then we have to think about who we're going to marry. And then we have to think about what home life is like. And then we have to think about all of the different relationships that we have to either steer to or steer away from. So all I have to say is that there's a lot in balance. On top of all that, um, God, for us Christians, is shaping us to become more like Him, which takes us to surrender ourselves and even relinquish our own will. So all of that mixed up together, yeah, it could contribute to a little bit of stress. But that's one of the reasons is us Christians, it's important for us to retreat, to get with God. It's important for us to read scripture, to learn, to understand, to listen, to allow ourselves to be shaped, to espouse the attributes of who God is, and allow ourselves to be influenced by His Holy Spirit. So all of those things really help us ultimately to be shaped to become more like Him. Now, in terms of mental wellness, I mean, as you know, the pandemic has sort of thrown a big twist into social isolation, and it's really impacted a lot of families. My brother's a police officer, so he said that there was more domestic violence during that first year of the pandemic than at any other time. I believe the statistic out there was domestic violence went up 400%.
Wow.
We just don't know how to communicate with each other. We don't know how to be in a house locked up with each other, which again, mental wellness sometimes is an indication that something's wrong. It doesn't state that this is indefinitely wrong and it can't be fixed. It's sort of like a thermometer. It reads the temperature. Hey, something's not right. If you have a child that's suffering with self-mutilation, with self-harm, there's something that's wrong. It's an indication, hey, we need to do something. So you work on trying to pick up where those cues are and then work your way backwards. But yeah, that I think we're going to be dealing with for a while. But I do believe that the church should be at the forefront of that issue of mental wellness, which at the Hope Center, we do have not only a community garden, but also a trail in the back that's focused on mental wellness, where we help people connect with nature and connect with God.
That is so good. The church we have our work cut out for us, but that's what I was going to move to my next point and say, what does a Hope Center look like? So you gave us 4 components. How are you executing those components, and what does that look like? And if someone wanted to say, what, I need the Hope Center. How do not how do I get in touch with you? Because we'll share that, but like, what will it offer? And even if you don't need it, you may know someone that does. So tell us a little bit about, if you could break it down a little bit about what the Hope Center offers.
Yeah, no, thanks for asking, because I think a lot of people know us for what we did in the past. And what we did in the past is we were a food pantry. Um,
Okay.
during the pandemic, what happened is we pivoted. We were able during the thick of the pandemic, where it was scary and there was all the shelves in the grocery stores were empty. Our team got together with the Greater Chicago Food Depository, and also Advocate. We're part of the Partners of Faith and Advocate. So we were able to provide services and resources to close to 10,000 people that year. Now that was huge. The only thing is there's something within me that said, this falls more in line with toxic charity. And let me clarify that. That's not a term that I've coined. But toxic charity basically holds to the ideas that you actually have a charity that hurts. It's helping that hurt, because what you end up doing is you enable your community. They depend on you.
Yeah.
The cycle where, the first time you give out something, everybody's excited. The second time, people are expecting. The third time, it's like it's more than an expectation there. So we wanted to get away from that model. So I talked to Pastor and I said, Pastor, what do you think about this? I said, I want to exist to add value back into the neighborhood. Now, Nisha, I know where you live. You know where I live. There's something attractive about our neighborhoods. People want to move into neighborhoods usually because they say, I see value in the neighborhoods, whether they use a value statement or not. They see something valuable. Or people leave their neighborhoods because they say, no, we got to get out of here. We're moving out tomorrow. Why?
I can't hear you. Can you hear me, Moy? Can you hear me? I don't know what happened. Can you hear me okay? You can hear me. I can't hear you. Oh, no. You guys be patient with us as we're having a few little technical difficulties, because that was so powerful what you were saying. I'm like, oh, my goodness. We're going to try to see if you can log on and log off and log back on and see if that will help us to see if we can get you back, because we definitely want to continue this conversation. Say something now. Can you hear me? Okay, log off and log back on. Log off and log back on. Okay. All right. Hey, you guys, Nisha's Network here, and we are here with Pastor Moy Mendez, and he's going to be right back, you guys. Such a powerful conversation, you guys. Going beyond the four walls of the church is so impactful and so powerful, and he is getting in the thick of sharing exactly what we need to hear today about making an impact in your community. And he runs the Hope Center in Blue Island, Illinois, and so super excited. Let me see.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Nisha.
That's okay.
I
We got
still
you back.
can't
That's
hear
okay.
any of the audio.
That's
it just
okay.
went out on me.
So I want to backtrack, because you said you talked to Pastor about making more of an impact, not just feeding them. So and I'm paraphrasing. So go into that part where you talked about what was next. Can you hear me? Oh no, it did it again. Oh no. Can you hear me? Oh wow, you guys. We're going to definitely have to finish this conversation. Can you hear me okay? Wow. All right, you guys. So we're still here, and we're not going to try to end this conversation. So we know that Pastor Moy has a lot of value to add. And so therefore, I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to wait to see if he'll come back. We're not going anywhere, just for a moment. So if you guys are here, I definitely want you guys to go ahead and reach out to Pastor Moy Mendez over at the Hope Center. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either. But we're going to just hurry and dive into this, because we definitely want to get the point out. That means this point has to come out, you guys. So, all right. So we're going to backtrack just a little bit and talk about what God showed you in terms of what was needed more.
So, yeah, when I began to talk to Pastor about adding value back into the neighborhood, immediately I thought of these four areas. We want to be able to help people spiritually. And for us Christians, we obviously know what that means, to spiritually flourish. But what does it look like for somebody that isn't a believer? A lot of times spiritual value means they know their purpose in life. So economic value, that means that there's basic economic principles that they can instill in their family. And what happens when mom and dad make a little bit more money? They could afford a little bit more. They don't have to be stressed out. The family first, the local economy flourishes. It has a lot of good repercussions on a family. The other one is intellectual value. There's nothing better than empowering the minds of our community.
Yes.
Because if we could do that by a skill, we could help increase their agency. And if we help increase their agency, they feel more empowered. Wow, I could actually start a business. And then it's social value, bringing a community together. So all these four things, we do it through three of our vehicles. So the first vehicle that we have is our auto mechanics program. That's one area where we teach our community how to work on cars, specifically people who are the most vulnerable populations. And not only working on their cars, but they leave with a business plan so that they understand what it actually takes for them to commodify their skill now.
Wow.
So they could learn not only how to change their own brakes, but put a premium on it and change other people's brakes and leave with a business plan in mind. So we've changed this idea from giving people fish to teaching them how to fish. We're no longer giving away food. We're no longer giving away services. If we do, it accounts for maybe 20 to 25% of what we do. The majority of what we do is empower people. So the second part of that, oh, and by the way, we have ASE certified technicians working with our community. So these are the sort of top dogs within the auto mechanic industry. We have a car lift. It's a fully stocked tool chest that we have there. We have our Hope Garden. We have an outdoor garden with trail focused on mental wellness. We have an indoor garden that runs 365 days a year. Each growing machine grows 25 pounds of vegetables in 28 days.
Wow.
So Blue Island and Robbins are both food deserts. And they're not only food deserts, but we're tackling food insecurities, not by giving away food, but by teaching people how to grow their own food and how to sell it. So right now we're actually providing a lot of fresh vegetables for the local bars and restaurants right by the Hope Center. So it's cool because they see us and we have different partnerships with them. And the people that go through our programs get to be part of these cohorts. So, and the people that are outside in the Hope Garden not only learn how to build small gardens with organic food, but they could also build food products. At the end, we tell them, hey, what do you have? Oh, well, we have enough to do salsa. Okay, we'll put together a salsa plan and we'll help you with a business plan and you could sell that. So figuring out ways to help our community by empowering them. And then the last one is Hope Technology. So what's cool about Hope Technology is that Nathan Zwartz is a good friend. He's also an engineer by trade and he does the work of a patent attorney. So we have 6 3D printers at the Hope Center where we teach our community not only how to create the geometry, so create the design with the computer, but also create the actual part. Now, our whole tagline there is we want to help expand the limits of your creativity and imagination. If we could teach our community by changing their mindset and helping them think broadly about the problems that they're encountering every day, we get to empower them in ways that it goes beyond just 3D printing. They begin to think in ways of problem solving as their way of life. They're like, wait a minute, if I could think through this, what other problems could I think through? So it's integrating all of that together. And we believe that integrating all that together at the end of the day does bring hope to the community, especially in under-resourced communities where a lot of these opportunities aren't always readily available.
So I'm just going to say that I am floored because I didn't know all this was going on at the Hope Center. Now that's terrible. I'm a member of the church and I had no clue all of this was going on. I did know that our snowblower went out and you all did a snowblower class where you could teach you how to fix your snowblower. So I do remember that. Oh, we missed out, unfortunately. But this is so powerful. I mean, impactful. It is amazing. I'm like blown away by it. And this is what, going beyond the 4 walls of the church, because, we're all sitting around worshiping and praising the Lord, but how are we making that impact? And I'm proud to say that Hope Center, thank you for sharing that today. That has enlightened me. And of course, I know, that I don't know if Heart Life Ministries launched a recovery program and with substance abuse for homelessness and, unemployment and mental health. I have to get them all out. And I had no idea. And ours is for the Will Grundy County, but I'm so excited about this. I was just talking to someone the other day who was looking for, he said people don't want to work. and he's looking for contractors and construction workers to come and work. He's looking for laborers to work. So I'm going to refer him to you. He's a member of our church too. That's what's so funny. Oh my goodness. This is so great. Thank you so much for all you do and for what you do. I want to just touch base a little bit about one of the statements that you make all the time is be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I'm sure that this is not just a popular subject of really just, going beyond the comfort of just, people that are going to love and be fuzzy. It's probably uncomfortable to reach out to the community and to get them to trust you, to be able to say, hey, you matter to us, and for them to believe it. So be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Share that a little bit. Share about that a little bit, Moy.
Yeah, I've grown so much. It's enriched my life in so many ways to make myself uncomfortable. I think when you encounter the place of when you begin to place yourself in a comfortable situation, you're most likely not to change. Um, but
Mhm.
change happens when you make yourself uncomfortable. I've been taking my son to the gym, and he's at that last rep, and for being 14 years old, he's doing pretty good. And I say, no, 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 you have that last rep. It hurts, but it's what's going to make you grow. And a lot of times in life, we learn about these basic principles by putting them to practice in reality. What does it look like? I'm the first one in my family to graduate from college. Both my parents didn't graduate from high school. I have four siblings, and I'm the first to graduate and I'm the youngest out of four and the first to graduate from college. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy going through my first, second, third degree, and even now pursuing to take the GRE so that I could go back to school and do a PhD. So it's not easy. I have to make myself uncomfortable. I have to put myself in settings that really allows me to grow. So I think the more we do that, the more we're going to see what we're really made of. And the more we're going to explore the limits of our own potential. A lot of times we just like being comfortable, and that's the worst place we could be in because there's no growth in being comfortable. We become complacent. We never get to tap into all of the great things that could possibly be ahead. So yeah, being comfortable with being uncomfortable is key.
Yes. Well, you have shared so much today. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't know, but we have to do this again. But how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so they could go to our Hope Center page on Facebook. So it's Hope Center, but in Blue Island. They could send me a message there, or they could reach me through my email address, moy@hopecenter.tv. And that's MOY at, and then Hope Center, and then dot TV as in television, but not television, just TV.
Yes, yes, yes. So you guys, you've heard it here from Pastor Moy Mendez of Christian Life Center, but he's in charge and the director of the Hope Center in Blue Island and changing communities one person at a time, launching programs and teaching technology and giving spiritual impartation and financial enrichment, all of the above. It could go on and on. And it's right. And is it only for the people in Blue Island?
No, no, it's for the people in the surrounding communities. Actually, we were just awarded a significant grant 2 days ago, which is
Congratulations.
yeah, it's our first excuse me, it's our first state grant that we've been awarded. So we've had a few private donations, but we just received a state grant not too long ago, a few days ago. That's going to help us continue to further our efforts out into the surrounding communities. So yeah, absolutely.
That's wonderful. Well, Heart Life is going to be looking for you because we need to partner and connect to make sure that we can connect people to the right source. And we appreciate all you do, your sacrifice and your labor of love and with family and just keeping it moving, ministry, family, and making sure you have some fun in the process too, which we
Yeah.
know you're going to make sure if you do. So we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Is there any last words you'd like to leave with people?
Yeah, I think I just, for whoever's hearing, I'd just like to encourage you to step out, take that first step. A lot of you have probably had dreams or thought or aspirations about doing X, Y, or Z, but it's still been a thought. It's been 12, sometimes 15, 20 years in the making. And you keep saying that you're going to do something. I would just encourage, if you're hearing my voice today, that you would take that step. You'll never know what's on the other side if you don't take that risk. So take that step of faith, do what God's called you to do, move forward into a place where you get to explore the limits of your potential.
Be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. If you guys are looking to reach out to Pastor Moy, go to Facebook. You can find him on Facebook, but also go and email him at moy@hopecenter.tv. And if you're a local church or someone who does not have a program like this, definitely come and reach out to Pastor Moy. It is not about one church, it's about the entire world and the kingdom of God. So thank you so much for today.
Yeah, thank you, Nisha. Pleasure to be on your show.
I really appreciate you. All right, hold tight. Until next time, you guys, we will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh.